Hey, it's another Tuesday. Well, it's not really Tuesday, it's Wednesday, but we haven't had electricity for a couple of days, so we're a day late, but it's time for another
Everyday Getaway.
And I know our Christmas tree is still up. I know it's not Christmas for most people, but we usually don't take our tree down until January the 10th, so we still have a couple more days.
There we go. I can enjoy it a little bit more.
Hey, so we're back in the kitchen today. What are we making?
We are making peppermint patties, homemade peppermint patties.
Oh, those sound good.
Yeah, it is. So for you candy lovers out there, here's a good, fun, just family favorite candy, peppermint patties.
And it sounds like a good January thing to make.
Yes, it does.
So hey, join us in the kitchen.
Let's get it started in here. I don't know why that song's in my mind, but anyway, let's get started. For our ingredients for our peppermint patties, we are going to be using a 14-ounce can, I can't talk, of sweetened condensed milk. And by the way, I don't know when you're seeing this, but we are recording on January the 8th. And we were in our Kroger's a couple of days ago, maybe 3 days ago, and they had their Christmas stuff, a bunch of stuff on sale, and we got this for 50 cents a can.
And they still had some last night.
Yes, so good deal. A 1 1/4 teaspoon of peppermint extract, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla. Takes a lot of powdered sugar, 4 3/4 cups, and then you'll need some for dusting. 3 cups of dark chocolate. And we're going to split ours. We're going to use some milk and some semi-sweet because Doug doesn't like the darker chocolate, so we'll split and do half and half. By the way, Toll House cookies or Toll House chips, we got those for 50 cents a bag, and they're normally like $5. Same place at Kroger's.
All gone yesterday.
Oh, that was a really great deal. And if you want sprinkles on the top, you can, and either a little bit of coconut oil or shortening just to add into the chocolate. All right, let's get started.
Okay, so I'm putting in my can of sweetened condensed milk, finishing up that. While I'm doing that, I want to say thank you to everybody that sent us well wishes while we were experiencing our ice storm and were without power for a couple of days. We really do appreciate it, and thank you for thinking about us. The next thing I'm going to add is my 1 1/4 teaspoon of peppermint extract.
And if you like it real pepperminty, you can certainly add more. We're going to go with what the recipes that we've read have said, but if we need to add more, we can. Oh, this looks like it's being a little booger to open up.
Yeah, it's being tough to open up here.
Oh, do we need to grab a knife?
Okay, I got it.
There we go.
Okay, so again, this is 1 1/4 teaspoon.
While Doug is getting that in there, we will, at some point, put in a little bit of video of our ice storm. It's beautiful outside, even though we went without power for a couple of days.
And now I'm going to put in 1/8 of my vanilla. Well, that's 1/8 of a teaspoon.
Yeah, a little bit extra. That's all right. We like vanilla. There we go.
That's about 1/8.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put in half of my powdered sugar to begin with, okay? And then I will start, once I start mixing it in, I will be putting in a little bit more of that, just a little bit at a time. And then I'm going to put this on the mixer and I'm going to get it started.
Let's get it started. It does smell very pepperminty.
And what I'm doing here is making it like dough-like.
Since the recipes that we've read several say that you should be able to almost pinch it off like a little piece of Play-Doh or something. So that's the consistency we're looking for.
And I'm going to just start adding a little bit of powdered sugar at a time. I do have our guard on here. This time I did not forget.
And if you're checking out in the background, look, there's a Doug and Tammy back there too. There we go. Most of the time when we're filming, for whatever reason of the rotation on our picture frame there, we have one of our kids' families on there. So not very seldom there's pictures of us. Oh. Sounds like it's mixing a little bit harder, so it's getting thicker. Now it does say if it's not the right consistency, but it looks like we're about at that stage where it looks like we can make a big ball, that you can always add more powdered sugar and to add it 1 teaspoon at a time. But I think that we have a pretty good consistency here. We'll check it out. Doug, what do you think?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good here.
Well, we do have a big hunk of it inside the wire whisk, which we have to get out. But once we get that out, we'll just scrape down the sides, and I think we got a good consistency going here. Good job, honey. I will say that we have a little bit of a yellowish tint, and I'm sure that's from the vanilla. The pictures that we've seen have more of the white filling. And I don't know if they were AI generated pictures or whatever, I don't know. But with the vanilla in ours, it does look a little bit like a cream color. But taste-wise, it's got good taste. I snuck a piece when I went to see if it was the right consistency. All right, just so that you can see, we can pinch a piece off. I think it will be moldable, just like what we would need to make the center. It says if it's too thick, you can always add like a teaspoon of water or a half teaspoon of water at a time and thin it. Or if it is not thick enough, again, add the powdered sugar. All right, we've cut 2 pieces of parchment, got one down on the counter. We're gonna spread out a little bit of powdered sugar. We're gonna get out this big wad of dough here, which may take us a minute, but it is a good consistency for ball. Once we get that out, we will put a little bit more powdered sugar on the top and roll it out a bit. So let me get all this out here and we'll see what we can do with it. All right, got a little bit of powdered sugar on my hands, probably more than I need. Powdered sugar on the top. And we're gonna roll this out between the 2 pieces of parchment until we get it about 1.5 inches thick.
And I will say this already, if you know somebody that likes the peppermint patties, this dough really does taste like a peppermint patty.
It does. I feel the cold air blowing across my long hair, and I don't remember all the commercial, but you get the picture. Now, bread dough on Food Network, they don't use the handles. I always used to use the handles, but I have watched the cookie people. I have watched the pie people, and I am going with their method. Let's see if how this works out. We want about 1.5 inches thick because we're going to cut out the circles for the peppermint patties. My mom had a mold for peppermint patties, but I know most people don't, so we're going to go this method here. So we're just keep rolling it till we get 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches, and then we'll move along. Okay, we are not making it 1.5 inches thick.
I thought that would be really thick.
That'd be really thick. It said the ball, when you could flatten it in the beginning to about 1/2 inch and then start rolling it. Or 1.5 inches and roll it. We want to get it down to between 1/4 and 1/2, which is where I think we are. So I was so excited about using the rolling pin like a professional that I completely messed that up. All right, so I think this is a good thickness. It looks like the inside of a peppermint patty. And we're going to cut out circles. I'm using what is actually a biscuit cutter, but if you have a small cookie cutter, or I also have seen it where you can roll it into a log and slice it. But since we have this, it's about the right size for a peppermint patty. We're just going to go in and start cutting out the insides of our patties. All right, we will keep going until we get them all done. And then we're going to probably have enough dough where we can re-roll a bit and get a few more out of it. They cut really easy. I hope they come off the paper that easily. All right, I'm just going to peel away a little bit of the excess. I think they're going to come off fairly well. Maybe a little more powdered sugar would have helped, but I think we got a pretty good deal going here. Get my hand out of the way. And just for extra, well, there we go. Peel them off, and we're going to put them on a cookie sheet. They have to dry an hour. Then you're going to flip them and let them dry another hour, just to get rid of a little bit of the moisture in them. All right, we'll keep going on getting these cut and see what we come up with. All right, with the one batch, we got about 54 peppermint inside, little circles to go inside. We'll dip these later. We have to let them set an hour, flip them, let them set another hour just to firm up a bit. And out of that one batch, I said we got a little over 4 dozen. I imagine if you make them thicker, if you want a thicker peppermint patty, then you'd get less. But I think they'll be plenty sweet for us as they are. I also remember seeing that you could, if you didn't want to use the cutout method or you didn't want to roll and slice, that you could use a cookie scoop, make 1-inch balls, lay them on a like a cookie sheet, cover it with parchment, and then flatten all the balls. So that's 3 different methods just to get that small circle shape. All right, we'll let them dry out a bit, then we'll start dipping. While we let the mint inside set, we'll take a look at our January 2025 ice storm in Central Virginia. Doug mentioned our ice storm. We have been without power for 2 days. I don't know if you can see it, the roads are where we are now fairly clear, but it hasn't warmed up enough to get all this ice off the trees yet. I think that the wind has died down enough, so hopefully more people won't be losing power, but our linemen are really working at trying to get power back to everybody, restored to all those folks near us, and we wish them the best. This is about 3 days after it started coming down, but we still have a coating of maybe 1/10 or 2/10 an inch of ice on most of the branches. It's beautiful, but certainly does make for a mess. We got everybody flipped over. We'll give them another hour to set. All right, the peppermint patty insides has set, dried out a little bit. We set them for an hour, flipped them, did another hour, so they're ready to go. We are going to do some melting of the chocolate. We've got 1.5 cups of some dark chocolate, 1.5 cups or 4 blocks of milk chocolate with a little bit of either coconut oil or shortening just to thin it and give it a nice glaze. We're going to get these melted down in the microwave, then we'll start dipping. All right, we're going to start with a few milk chocolate, and if you make a lot of candy, you may have a better dipping method, but I have a slotted spoon that I'm just going to lay this in, give it a little dunk, and we will put it over on the pan and let the bottom, or let this dry out, and then we will flip it, make sure that we have some on the back. So we will get going with several of these, little dunk, a little bit of milk chocolate on the top, and we know the semi-sweet is more and the dark chocolate's more of what a normal peppermint patty is, but we'll do a few of these and then we'll swap off. All right, the top's dried pretty quickly, and Doug, what are you working on there?
I'm just painting the back a little bit, just to get a little covering on the back instead of dipping that side. I thought I'd try the painting. I'm sure that you might have a better way to do it, but I'm just giving this a try.
All right, on the tops, if you want a few little sprinkles, you can add those on. We're just using the little tiny ones, and that might not be traditional peppermint patty, but it can be holiday fun. So we got some little wintry looking colors here, or you could use red, pink, white with Valentine's coming up, or certainly with Christmas or Easter, you could make them your own.
Okay, here we go with round number 2.
Semi-sweet.
Semi-sweet.
You could go all the way dark or combination. And I wonder what it would be like with some white chocolate, if you are liking white chocolate.
I don't think that would be too sweet.
I think so too. All right, so we will move along with these. And I switched out my spoon. I think this spoon is not as good as my first spoon.
And I do think the painting did go pretty well.
Yeah, for the bottoms.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good plan.
Hey, now that took a little bit of time, but they look like it was worth it.
Yeah, we've got some that we have a few sprinkles on with milk chocolate. We have some that are darker chocolate. We use semi-sweet. But again, you can use dark, semi-sweet milk. Hey, it's what your taste is. This is all about what
with
you
the
want.
time I was talking about, it just takes, you have to dry it off on both sides, so that takes a couple hours.
Yeah, and then
The
dip it.
actual work time doesn't take that long.
No, the Dunkin' took a little bit of time, but it was fun work. It wasn't bad work.
Hey, let's give them a try.
All right.
Okay, let's give this a little try. Tastes like a peppermint patty.
Yeah, it does. It's got lots of good peppermint flavor. You could even go a little bit more than what we did, but it's good. Chocolate coating is good. I certainly would eat this.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll enjoy these that we have, and it was fun trying.
That's right. Hey, let us know if you try them.
There you go. Hey, send us a picture too and let us know how yours look. Because
That's right.
it's always fun to see what somebody else does. All right. Thank you for being with us today. Take care of yourselves. Take care of others, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today as we tried our hand at these delicious homemade peppermint patties. Join us next week as we make some key lime pie tartlets. They look so delicious.